Kind of like the, those dirty, devilish, raunchy horror movies. What is up, everybody? It is Friday, December 9th, 2022 AD, 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time. I keep on wanting to say daylight. Feels like, I think most of the year we say daylight time. Here in Los Angeles, gonna have a fun, loosey-goosey Friday show. I hope you enjoy it. I hope I do too. Gonna talk about this shoplifter who can't breathe. Hat tip to Pork Chop Express or whatever your name is over there on Twitter for the tip. Finally, I'm getting to it. I can't breathe. Yes, I'm gonna subject you to 2 minutes and 20 seconds of bitter complaining from a black and his girlfriend. Who knows? And another black lady. And I might be using the term loosely, but I don't want to be uncharitable. Brittney Griner. I have a Brittney Griner profile. I know you all have been begging to hear about Brittney Griner. I made that up. 6'9", 205 pounds, by the way. I will talk about that. Based by lady. I'm not finishing the word by because children listen, and I shouldn't even be using the word by. And I got reprimanded on air on the Jesse Lee Peterson show multiple times by JLP for calling her based, Kyrsten Sinema, going from demon rat to independent as if there's a difference. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm an independent. Psh. I probably shouldn't use that voice. Crime out of control. Celine Dion has an issue now. She's always had issues, but now they are manifesting in the physical body. What a shame. And I may touch on Indonesia. Is Sleepy Joe signing so-called same-sex marriage into law now? Sick. All that and your calls. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the Friday intro show.
Have you been naughty or nice?
Do you want to do the AJ one? Let's do the AJ one. Cut! Let's do the AJ Gallardo original. Because AJ made this on Christmas Eve. So it's sort of Christmassy, even though it doesn't sound as Christmas. Sorry, Trevor. Not sorry. But forgive me. Thanks, man.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, we're gonna have a fun loosey-goosey Friday show. We are listening to the AJ Gallardo original theme song of the Hake Report, and I love it. You can call in 888-775-3773 with a 1 first. Nice.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. What is up? Health aware, hashtag HA. Nice to see you. It feels like it's been a long time. AJ equals another Jose. And I am wearing it is mine. I bought it from the JLP store. And I think that this may be an exclusive now. This may have just gone up in value because it is limited edition now. Tom like a mug with Jesse Lee Peterson. That's what it says. Kids, don't ask. Because we don't use racial slurs or cuss words. Hey, still got more street cred than Brittney Griner. That's nice of you. If you go to rebuildingtheman.com/stores, you can find some T-shirts. Some T-shirts are still available. Some are not because of censorship by the liberals. What a shame. Let me dive right into some calls. How do you dive into calls? Let me jump right in with some calls to start with, at least one. You can call in 888-775-3773. Denny is in Bulgaria. He's on the line. Denny, how are you doing?
Good day, Mr. Hake. I'm doing quite fine. I hope things are well on your end.
All is well, thank you. What time is it in Bulgaria right now for you?
It's 7 p.m. 7:05 p.m.
Okay, nice.
Normally I'm actually working during Mr. Peterson's program and enjoying my time during your program. Yeah.
What time does it get dark in Bulgaria nowadays?
Right now during the winter, about a little bit before 5 p.m.
Oh, wow. Man, that's harsh. It gets dark a little after 5 over here. Wow.
Yeah, but during the summer, there's the sun up until 9 p.m., so all is well done.
That's a nice trade-off, I suppose. Cool.
Couldn't agree more.
Yep.
Mr. Hake, I was listening to Mr. Peterson's program, and you highlighted a few things about Denmark and a few things about Ukraine. And I actually graduated in Denmark. I used to live there when I was a student. And I just wanted to share a few interesting facts. Although it's been 10 years since I left, I highly doubt the country changed much in that department. Yes, there is a so-called socialistic party over there.
Yeah.
And the taxes are very high. That's true. But keep in mind that the big Danish companies almost don't pay any taxes. But they're taking care of their employees and the people in general. So they have this very strong national conscience, and they really protect their people. The people are paying a lot of taxes, and the companies aren't paying taxes, but the companies are giving the people back the money in form of benefits, etc., etc.
Okay.
And they are, yes, so this is how they protect their own. And this is how basically they protect themselves from immigrants. And keep in mind that, as a foreigner, I saw that. And I really admire that because they preserve themselves, they preserve the children and the nation. When there is a socialist party over there, it's a little bit more loose. Like you have benefits from here and there, but it's nothing serious. It's not something solid. And when there's a conservative party on top, the benefits are being reduced. But all we know, it doesn't matter because most of the things that are being open for discussion and for decision are in the hands of the private sector. And the private sector is made of Danish people and is taking care of the Danish people. I really admire that. I left that place. I didn't stay there. I left that place because it simply wasn't for me. But it was simply a remarkable place full of very, very splendid people. All of the immigrants there are basic because it's very ethnocentric. You have to learn Danish, and you have to learn it really good. It's basically speaking German, but with a hot potato in your mouth. So
that's how Danish sounds. Is German with a hot potato in your mouth?
It is, yes. So,
cool.
but all jokes aside, they really protect themselves, and not in a bad way. I don't mean it in a bad way.
Right.
They're really doing it in a good way because they have good legacy, and they're protecting that legacy. I have nothing but admiration for those folks over there. It's simply remarkable. And some of your viewers probably might not know about this, but Greenland is actually under Danish control. It's part of, although not officially, it's considered to be a Danish province.
Okay. Wow, I did not know that. So Trump would have bought Greenland from the Danish. Is that what you're saying?
Well, basically, as far as I know, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, every president after World War II made that offer.
Wow.
But yes, if it is to be bought from, it's to be bought from the Danish. This is why the Danish people are the biggest exporter of salmon, because the biggest salmon places in the Nordic Sea is between Greenland and Denmark, and they actually control that territory.
Wow.
So it's a great place. It's a remarkable place. If you ever have some 2 weeks vacation, I suggest you, but pack a jacket because it's incredibly cold.
Yeah, especially for Hake. Hake gets cold easily lately. I need to get more exercise, I suppose. Well, great input, man. So were you able to speak that language, Danish, German? You spoke German with a hot potato in your mouth?
Unfortunately, I wasn't, because I was in the group of foreigners, and I was stationed at a place where we were 17 people from 15 nationalities. And there were no Danish people over there. They were in the Danish campus, and we had so much to study and so much work to do, because you have to work when you're there. So I really wasn't much in contact with the Danish folk, but I really admired them.
What language did you speak when you were there?
English.
Okay. Yeah, I just read on the internet that their one official language is Danish. However, there are several minority languages spoken throughout the territory, and Danes are taught English at a very young age. 86% of all Danes speak English as a second language, according to the internet.
Yes, but in those 86% are included Greenland. So in mainland Park, almost everybody do. The first day I went there, I got lost because, it's a new place. And back then we didn't have GPS phones and stuff like that. And I didn't know what to do. There was nobody. And an old lady, about 80, 85 years old, came out of her house, and she was speaking perfect English. Excuse me, boy, what are you doing here? What are you looking for? I said, well, I was lost. And she gave me directions.
Wow.
So everybody spoke English. It's a great place.
So they're true neighbors of one another.
Yes.
At least the 86-year-old lady was.
Yeah, they protect one another very much. It was an honor to be there and to see their country.
That's cool, man. I have a question from chat. Is it true that Greenland is more ice and that Iceland is more green?
True, because when the Vikings went to Greenland is basically green for 2 months. But when the Vikings went there, they went into that time frame, the 2 months. So yes, about 10 months ice and 2 months green, and the same, and vice versa for Iceland.
Okay. Well, thank you, man. Very educational, Denny. As always, it's great to hear from you, man.
And if I have but a moment, may I give my personal opinion about the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, or should I call another time?
Yes, please do. Ukraine.
Thank you. My personal opinion, because, keep in mind that although they're different countries, they're basically one people. It's basically like civil war between two very aggressive men.
Yeah.
I know that you believe Vladimir Putin is the most interesting man, but definitely not interesting to me.
Okay.
We know folks like him. You mentioned that Volodymyr Zelensky kind of banned a few churches here and there. Keep in mind that this is an old USSR tactic. They're basically replacing all of the priests with KGB agents, back then when it was called the KGB.
I've heard that.
And this keeps on happening now. So the churches that were banned were actually a propaganda for Russia. So that was I wouldn't say a good move, but a proper one, considering the circumstances. And Ukraine should have never actually, the whole thing is they wanted to be part of the European Union and NATO, which makes the Russian border vulnerable. They should have never done that, because they were doing pretty well with Russia, they were doing pretty well with NATO. The thing is that Volodymyr Zelensky got greedy, like really greedy. And Vladimir Putin on his other side cannot allow his ego, and he has a tremendous ego, can never allow this to happen. So what they did, this is why they actually focused all of their efforts on Donetsk, Luhansk, and Kharkiv, because this is the industrial zone of Ukraine. Basically, they took the industry and they took the fields from where they produce agriculture. And everything else about Ukraine is absolutely a useless piece of land. So they left them that part.
Wow.
This is why, if you remember, in 2014, they invaded and they took Crimea, the Crimean Peninsula,
Yes.
which is just across of the Black Sea. This was during the Obama administration.
Yep.
When your current president was elected, everybody knew that this conflict is going to be resumed.
Wow.
Nobody wanted the conflict during your former president,
True.
but for many reasons.
Yeah.
But everybody knew that this conflict is going to happen again when your current administration took power. And the whole thing is basically now the whole world, probably not the whole world, but the whole of Europe suffers because of the crazy ego of two people.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky. And I don't know when this or how this will be resolved, but it's all about the ego.
And
None
the
of those
egos
men are-
egos of all the people supporting Ukraine and perhaps the people supporting Russia, but it seems like more the Western world, the mainstream, all these people with their Ukraine flags. That's all ego as well. Very interesting, balanced take,
My
man.
personal
Thank you.
opinion, Mr. Hake, is that the people who are financially supporting Ukraine,
Uh-huh.
like your current administration and the European Union, I think this is a money laundering scheme, and they're going to get rich of it.
Oh.
But, yeah, it looks very much like a money laundering scheme because they're sending billions. Nobody knows where those billions are going, and eventually they're going to end up in somebody else's bank account. This is my personal opinion and take, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But, yes, this is how I see it.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's educational as well. Always a remarkable call from Denny in Bulgaria. I wonder if Kevin Howe, my resident Russia opposer, agrees with you. I think he would. Because he mentioned that the KGB, the Russians, infiltrated the churches, like the Orthodox Church of Ukraine and Russia. And so those churches are not very Christian, actually.
Not at all.
They're about
Not
power.
at all. No.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Hake, for your work. Kind regards to all of your colleagues. Merry Christmas, and I wish you all the best, sir.
Great call, Denny. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye. Yes, Kevin Howe says, listen to him. Kevin Howe is in my chat. He's like, Hake, stop listening to Vincent James about Russia. Russia is not the good guys. Just because the globo homo is against Russia doesn't mean you have to be for Russia. Something to that effect, right? Kevin Howe says, listen to him. Russia is a bunch of brown countries. Iran, North Korea, China, South Africa. All these commies versus Europe. Anglos, America. Go fight with your commies. It is a money laundering scheme 100. 100 is a black term that many whites have adopted now, right? Blacks started using it like a decade ago, and so whites are now adopting it. No, I don't know. But money laundering scheme, I don't understand how that aspect of it works. I'm not doubting nor agreeing on that note. But yeah, evil versus evil is what it sounds like. Thank you, Denny. Thank you, Kevin Howe. Appreciate bringing balance to the to Hake's fawning all over the most interesting man in the world, Vladimir Putin. Anyway, let me get to another call here, guys. I will get to some stories. I will. I promise. Maybe I shouldn't be making promises. But Paul in Florida is on the line, wants to talk about religion. How you doing, Paul?
Good, Hake. How you doing? Good morning.
Doing well.
The reason I'm calling, I was listening to Jesse Lee Peterson's show. I was on hold there.
Mm-hmm.
And the first caller there had said that God was beta. And I wanted to put a little light on it because I hope some of the other people who watch Jesse come on your show.
Oh.
And this caller knew absolutely not. He was actually listening. That's blasphemy. He was listening to his daddy, the devil.
Oh, you know what? I didn't fall for that. You know, people may not have caught the Jesse Lee Peterson show yet, although they should.
Yeah, no.
But no, you
But
should call the JLP's show about that topic, man.
Yeah, I want to give him a good answer, though.
But he may not be
The answer
listening
was-
on the Hake Report. This is the Hake Report.
I understand, but I'm hoping that the other callers have come on, might be on your show.
No,
they
man,
love both of you guys.
I don't really like that.
Oh, but I have an answer for the Ukraine Russian thing too.
Oh, you want to talk about that? Okay, let's do that.
I could talk about that.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize that what do you call it? When before Trump got in office, they were already going into the Ukraine. They were trying to make
who's they?
A
the Russians
deal
were.
there.
The Russians were trying to go into Ukraine and make a deal.
Us, the United
we.
States, our politicians.
Oh, okay.
And they were going in there trying to make a deal. Oh, we're going to help you. We're going to give you the money you need. And then Trump came in and shut that down. So this was already planned. Basically, the 3 states that are on the border of Russia were populated by 100% Russian people. They were being tormented by the Ukrainians. And they had that Nazi troops. You remember the Nazi troops?
The Ukrainian Azov battalion. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've heard this. Yeah,
so
I've heard that.
they were going around screwing with the Russian people who were living there.
Sorry, kids.
No, forgive me. Like, a drill gun.
But I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so
I have heard
basically
this.
that whole thing was planned before Trump got into office. And as soon as Trump got out of office, they put it in full gear. And so, like the first call said, that is a money laundering operation. And as far as I see it, my personal opinion, is for, like we've been warned by other presidents, is the industrial arms people, those people that watch out for them because they're the ones that we need to look out for. So now what do? Leave the weapons in Afghanistan. They leave all of those people who were helping us and give their addresses out because they were Republican. They would have voted Republican. Those people hanging off planes. It's crazy what our government's doing. I don't understand it, but I know the devil's working hard in the last days and all of that.
Yeah.
But, I can send you an email, whatever it is. I sent you one the other day about the other stuff. And so, yeah, I guess you're right about cutting me off about that other thing about Jesse. But
oh, no worries,
I would have loved
man.
to explain that.
Yeah.
I would have loved to explain that. Basically, God's wrath is not anger. And it was poured out on the cross the day Jesus died. And now he gave us a new way through grace.
Okay. Well,
Job
thanks, man.
was before the covenant. And that's all I have to say.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. You know what?
Basically, the devil's calling God a liar.
Going back to, which he does. Going back, he did that with Eve. You will surely not die. God's lying. Paul,
He's the murderer.
Going back to the Russia-Ukraine thing, Kevin Howe says that is so much propaganda. The evil Nazis just can't be Russian in Ukraine? Okay.
It's crazy.
You know what? He's calling you the propaganda for that because the Azov regiment, I've heard that they are killing civilians sometimes or people who are trying to leave Russia.
Yes,
I've heard that, but that's not the only thing that's happening. That is happening, I do believe, but that's not the only thing that's happening. There's more evil than just that. And what propaganda is, like with the January 6th stuff, they deceive people with facts by deceptively reporting different facts. And sometimes they get the facts wrong, too. So I think there's a lot, I don't know, a lot going on.
It's sad because they
really
say that they're a democracy. And that guy...
What's democracy?
He's listening. They say Ukraine's a democracy.
Oh, yeah, what a joke.
He shut down all media. Everything got shut down. And as far as getting rid of the Russian church, maybe it's infiltrated by, the Russians, So, yes, the church has always been used, the Catholic Church, the Orthodox churches. But the thing is that everything got shut down. He took out all of the different parties that they were in their Congress or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
There's only one thing. It's state-run television now. Everything is one party. It's Vladimir, whatever his name, his party, and it's disgusting. And our money is going over there, and how can we stop it? I don't know. I just say prayer is the powerful thing there is, and I know God might even be in God's plan for all this to go. I mean, we might just want to watch it and just see how it unfolds because that's all we can do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Paul, in Florida. Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, I sent you an email the other day. I looked at it.
You sent it to the HakeReport at gmail.com?
Yeah, and I sent one to the Jesse Christmas show too.
Okay.
So,
Thanks,
I
man.
appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thanks.
All right. You too. Bye. Let me quickly get to Ben in Rhode Island before the bottom of the hour here. Ben, thanks for calling. What is up?
Hey, Hake.
Hey.
So nice to talk to you again.
Oh, yeah, I
It's so
remember you.
interesting. Yeah, I spoke with you yesterday. I had a great conversation and pushed back a little. I really appreciate your openness. I have some insight on this Ukraine situation.
Are you on a speakerphone, Ben?
I'm just on a cell phone.
Okay,
Having trouble hearing me?
Yeah, stay close to your phone. Don't go in and out.
I will.
Don't move around.
I will. Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
I entered the debate sphere and have been encountering rabidly pro-Putin Orthodox converts. And I've come to understand that the Putin philosophy is rooted in a guy named Alexander Dugin, and his philosophy is that the East is locked in kind of mortal combat with the West. And by the West, a lot of people say, well, that's the Jewish homo globo, whatever.
Right.
But really his enemy is the Vatican. His enemy is Rome. And this is tied in with a paranoid Eastern philosophy tied in with the Orthodox Church. So I think that a lot of people who are good people are on Putin's side, but this is not the side of God. This is not the side. This is the side of the devil. Although there are a lot of evil people on the other side as well.
Yeah, isn't it just two devils fighting, or millions and millions of devils on both sides, on many sides?
I agree with you, and actually have a solution to this.
Are there any good people? Are there very fine people on both sides?
That's right.
No, I'm asking.
Right.
It's sort of silly because Trump said it. Well, it's not silly.
Yeah, but there are
I'm being
bad
silly, but I'm
ideas,
asking seriously.
There are bad ideas on both sides.
No, but how about fine people? Very fine people.
Fine people, yeah, on both sides.
You agree?
Yeah, fine people on both sides, but I think there's a lie going on both sides.
Yeah, I believe that.
And there's a truth, which is that our Lord commanded, did not ask, but commanded that his church be one. And there's been a schism, a split for 1,000 years between the Orthodox in the East and the Catholic Church in the West. And this causes a tremendous insecurity because when the Orthodox split, which is, I think, some 250 million people are lost because they're separated from Rome, and they hate the Pope, who is the successor of Peter. You may not be Catholic. I know a lot of folks aren't Catholic, but that is who the church is. Who traditionally the church is the source of unity. Now, those Christians.
The source of unity is the Pope, the successor of Peter?
Well, our Lord said he didn't.
No, is it? Is that what you're saying? Yes?
The church is founded on Peter. That's what our Lord said.
Okay.
Upon
And
this
so
church, upon this rock,
the Catholics added the Pope as the successor of Peter, and so now the church is founded on the Pope.
Well, Peter was the rock, and so upon this rock,
Petra,
he will build his church. So the successors of Peter have that same title. They are the.
Did God make them the successors of Peter? Did God say that there would be successors of Peter?
Yes.
Where?
Jesus Christ. I don't know.
He said that there would be.
Christ.
Jesus said that there would be successors of Peter.
Did he use that actual language? See, this is back to this.
No, I'm not language,
thing.
but that message. He said that in any form.
Yes, and all Christians agreed with this until the year 1000. All Christians agreed with it. Read Christian history. It is through Peter that almost miraculously the church
written
survived.
down history is not all anybody.
Well, do you think that our Lord founded a church upon the apostles, 12 men where Peter had a sort of unifying aspect?
Peter is Peter, and I don't see that he needed a successor.
But were the apostles? Did the Lord Jesus Christ give us the Bible, or did he
I
give us
agree,
12
though. I agree
men?
with one thing, Ben, that nobody should hate the Pope.
Yeah, but if you don't recognize the Pope for who he is, you will hate the Pope, and therefore you will do great evil against the Pope. And this is why the Protestants and the Orthodox are in a terrible state, although most of them are good people.
Okay. Interesting, man. So you're
You
saying that
can't-
this
you can't
you're saying this
accept Christ and
Ukraine-Russia
not-
thing, this Ukraine-Russia, the West versus the
Yeah.
East, is kind of the Catholics versus the Orthodox. The
that's the
based
right
Catholics
lens to see
versus
it.
the lost Orthodox.
The what? The what?
The based Catholics versus the lost Orthodox.
Yeah, what you have here in the Orthodox are crying sons who refuse to recognize their father, right? And their Holy Father. The Pope means the Father, Papa, right? So they are separated from their father, and they need to be reunited. And the way this is traditionally done is through a church council, right? A great council where everyone comes together, and Christians. This is the great scandal of this war. It is Christians killing Christians. It's unacceptable.
Yeah. Isn't that always the way lately? Past few hundred years or whatever, maybe for a long time. Matthew
Yeah, World War
23,
II.
Matthew 23, 9 through 11. Call no man, this is Jesus speaking. Call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father in heaven.
Right.
He didn't say
Right.
Peter's the Father or the Pope is the Father.
Right.
Neither
Okay,
be called
so our
call
Lord
no man
spoke in
master.
hyperbole.
That's
But
hyperbole.
do
He
you
was
call
exaggerating.
Your biological. But
Go-
this goes back to my womanish point. You understand that our Lord spoke in hyperbole often. He also said, "If your right hand offends you, cut it off." I'm sure all of our right hands have offended us, right? But we still have them. But do you call your biological father your father, or do you say, "No, I don't use that term"?
I call him my dad, but it's beside the point.
Okay, but dad means father.
Right.
You don't say, "Well, Jesus won't let me say that." Right? Wasn't our Lord saying the real father?
But then
is
why
our
did you
Father in
add?
heaven?
Why did you guys add the Pope? Because the Pope, that's not common sense to call the Pope your father, or the priest
It
your father.
absolutely is, right? Yes, it is.
No, it's not. How is it
He's
common sense?
He's the leader of the family of Christians. He's the unifying leader.
Only
Like,
Christ is the
don't
leader.
you find it interesting that you're always objecting to the Father? You're always objecting to the Father. The Lord.
The
we
Father
refer to
is God.
as
God said, Jesus said, you have one leader, Christ. Even Paul said that.
No, he did not say that.
Yeah, he did.
said to
He
the
said,
apostles-
you have one leader, Christ. Christ is the head.
No, he did not. Yeah, in some sense, but we reach Christ through the men that he set up after he left. He set up 12 men to run the church, didn't he? You don't think that's true?
I don't know.
Well, read the Bible.
I read
clear
it,
that
and
there
I
were
don't know
12
from
apostles who had
that.
authority.
I don't jump to that conclusion that he set up 12 men to lead the church.
Well, do you realize? Do you not say that there were 12? There were 12 apostles who had unique authority, and after he left, they exercised this authority by coming together and deciding whether circumcision was going to be right. I mean, are you familiar at all with the Bible?
I'm familiar. I'm quite familiar with the Bible, but it's just like you're acting like the Black Hebrew Israelites, as though I'm missing something that's so obviously there. It may be obvious to you, but it's not obvious to me in that way.
Yeah, I want to be charitable. I used to be a Protestant. I don't know if you're a Protestant. I don't think you're exactly a Protestant, but
Yeah, I was raised Christian.
yeah, I understand
Right.
that you can miss this kind of stuff, but
Right,
there
just like we whites who deny the Black Hebrew Israelites, we're missing it. That the Black Hebrew Israelites are the true Hebrew Israelites.
yeah, they're crazy. But
And that's how you sound.
Okay, I may sound crazy to you, but one of us is right and one of us is wrong.
Maybe we're both
And-
wrong.
Yeah, we could be both wrong. We could
Right.
be talking like the
Because I
Russians
see
are
this
talking
as
to
an
the Ukrainians.
empty argument.
Okay, well, what's the argument? Whether our Lord set up 12 apostles?
That you have to believe the Pope is the successor of Peter, otherwise you hate him. That's the argument.
Yes, you do. This is the. You have to understand that.
So you believe in Pope Francis? You believe Pope Francis is the next Peter?
I believe he's the successor of Peter. That doesn't mean I have to believe he's a perfect person, but that yes, he has the principle.
And the stuff
of
that
unity.
he says, I heard that the Catholics believe that the stuff that Peter says is something like inspired by God or whatever. It's as authoritative as the Bible.
Go ahead. Tell me something that Pope Francis has said that you object to.
He says stuff that's vague.
Well,
It's clear as mud.
Tell me one thing that the Holy Father has said that you would say couldn't be
I don't know
from God.
what he's said because he speaks so vaguely. He doesn't speak in clear terms. Based on all of the reports, am I wrong in saying that he speaks in vague terms? He doesn't take clear stances.
Okay, but that
is that true?
You could level at our Lord.
No. Is it true what I'm saying?
I know you're trying to do is railroad me. Yes.
It's not railroading. It's clarity. He's not using clarity, and you're dancing around pretending that Jesus talks like the Pope.
No, and that's not dancing.
Yeah, it is. It's dancing. You're saying Jesus talks like the Pope?
Yes.
And you just admitted that the Pope is not perfect.
No, I admitted that
he's not a perfect person. Jesus is perfect.
I admitted that. Oh, so a perfect person doesn't speak as our Lord spoke?
Right.
Well,
an imperfect person doesn't speak like Jesus. He speaks vaguely,
I don't understand
like an intellectual.
What that could possibly mean. I would think that if you are speaking as the vicar of Christ, you would speak in ways that are similar to Christ.
Which the Pope does not.
Okay, but you just said he did.
No, I didn't. I said he didn't.
The problem with him.
I said he spoke clear as mud. You said that he spoke like Jesus. I didn't say Jesus spoke like that.
Do you think our Lord spoke? I want you to answer me this question. How many Protestant sects are there? 30,000. All of them have taken our Lord's
You're changing the subject.
Ambiguities and run with them.
You're changing the subject. One wrong doesn't justify another.
Jesus spoke in a way that could be interpreted 30,000 different ways.
That's intellectual is misinterpreting him. But the Pope cannot be. You're not honest, man.
I'm not honest.
Right.
But I'm saying that our Lord gave us an interpreter in Peter and his successors.
No, the Holy Spirit's the interpreter.
But he acts through. You know, in the Bible, there's a question about circumcision. How was that controversy resolved?
I gotta go, man. You've jumped around so much, and we've gone too long. Let's talk more later. I'm tired.
Okay, yeah, you do get exhausted when a father energy comes against a weak energy.
Is that how you see yourself, man?
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
I love you, buddy. Don't.
I believe that.
All right.
Take care. Wow, interesting. What a mess. But we love the Catholics, if we love anybody, or do we love anybody? Got some super chats for you guys to read from Odyssey, odysee.com/@ The Hake Report /live. Azzmador, our resident historian. Oh, man, I missed it. He's been throwing a bunch in. Being against the Pope doesn't put you on the side of the devil. That's what Azzmador states. He also says, Ukraine and Russia are both Orthodox. This guy is all over the place. Interesting. Good point. Azzmador states, man, I'm sorry I didn't jump in with these. Paul wasn't one of the 12. He was the one who said circumcision was no longer necessary. The Jews in Jerusalem tried to kill him for it. Francis isn't vague when he tells Western nations to throw open their borders. He's very clear about that, right? He's just unclear about the homosexuality mess. As far as I've seen, Catholicism has always been an enemy of independent nation states. Interesting. Pope Francis, he says, is an antichrist, like all popes. Ouch. All of them? There was not... Well, I mean, he's quite... The Pope is ticked. Pope Francis. Argentine. Socialist. Brainwashed. Thank you, Azzmador, over there on Odyssey. More super chats from streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Lord Bibby 42 says, have you ever seen Brittney Griner dunk a basketball? It's the funniest thing ever. It's the funniest thing ever. It'll be interesting to see if her thoughts on America have changed considering how lopsided the trade deal was. SMH Hake. Shaking my head. Indeed. Talk about a lopsided trade deal. Also, James Hake's birthday celebration extravaganza and Bibby's bodacious birthday bash extraordinaire come together in the second annual event. Happy birthday, homie. Drink responsibly, chat. Looking at you, C-Sal. Well, thank you, Lord Bibby 42. Happy birthday. It's my birthday, too. I just turned 40 a year and a half ago. About, almost. And so we're still celebrating my birthday. And Lord Bibby, happy birthday. That's cool. And some archive super chats on the Hake Report. When Hake was out, all those, I almost said all those years. Let me read these to you. From September 6th. Yes, I was out. Almost all of August, all of September, all of October, and then I think in November I came back. Something like that. Maybe mid to late November. What a mess. Anyway, Base America First with a few. U.S. Census Bureau. Let me read these from Base America First. U.S. Census Bureau overcounted 8 states, Delaware, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Rhode Island, and Utah, and undercounted 6 states. Arkansas, I think. AR is Arkansas, right? Yes. Florida, Illinois, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas in the 2020 census. 7 out of 8 overcounts are blue. 5 out of 6 undercounts are red. Blue meaning demon rat, Democrat, and red meaning so-called Republican voters, significantly penalizing red state Congress representation. Wow. Always pulling those shenanigans. You know, we had to do the 3/5 compromise because the South was being way underrepresented, and we're like, we have all these blacks here. We need to be counting those. These are people. But they're not citizens, and they're not voting people. And so, okay, how about the 3/5? They count as 3/5 for your representation. Oh no! And then the dumb blacks come in. Oh no, that means they called us 3/5 human. Dummies! You don't know what you're talking about. Don't say dummies, kids. Sorry. Apportionment, says Based America First, going on, can be complex since states can't have a fractional representative. Oh, true. Yeah, they have to have a whole representative. Minnesota error was 26 people. Colorado, Minnesota, Rhode Island should have lost 1 representative each. Florida should have gained 2. Texas should have gained 1. Conveniently, there is no legal remedy, quote unquote convenient. Trump was unsuccessful, goes on Based America First. Based America First goes on. Trump was unsuccessful preventing non-citizen count. Remember, you wanted to ask the citizenship question, and I think it went to the Supreme Court. Census used China virus to slow roll results until after Trump. Notice Joe Obama's, that's Sleepy Joe, Sleazy Joe, the Obama administration continued. His Delaware was overcounted. Oh, good point. Delaware, sick place. New England, how far they've fallen. Were they always this bad? This significantly affects representative votes, federal funds distribution, and the Electoral College. Well, thank you for the education-based America First. Always educational with the super chats over there on streamlabs.com/thehake report/tip. Appreciate that. Finally, let me get to clip 11. It's ridiculous that it's 45 minutes into the show and I'm barely getting into clip 11. Sometimes I don't even have one, though. Catching shoplifters. And this was a tip from, I think, Pork Chop Express, whatever your name is on Twitter. This is from Trooper. TR00PE. Hashtag Macy's, hashtag Sacramento, reports Trooper on Twitter. A reliable source. Alleged shoplifter detained by the loss prevention unit. This is almost 2.5 minutes of what went down. It's in the middle of it. Cover your ears, people who are easily annoyed. This is one of 2 clips, and I'm not going to play the other clip because I don't have it, but you get the gist of what's going on. Here's the alleged shoplifter detained, and is clearly being detained by the purported loss prevention unit up in, I guess, Macy's, Sacramento. Watch and listen. I bleeped out the cuss words that I heard. So if any cuss words go out, I apologize. Listen to this and watch. Those look like Proud Boys. Black kid in a hoodie. They're outside the Macy's, holding them against the glass wall. Big boys. Some girls screaming, "Let that girl, let her go!" Skinny black whippersnapper dude. Looks like he's black. Look at that face. Did he say he's 16? Don't those look like Proud Boys holding him? Based Proud Boys. Based NorCal. Look at the security woman. She's just standing by. This is illegal. Not stealing. Stealing's not illegal. Are these just concerned citizens? You just like your mama. Screaming. Poor boy. He can't breathe, guys. Let go of his arm. He can't breathe. So Hispanic guy, big guy, and a guy with a red beard, white guy. No, we're not gonna let him go. Another guy in a yellow hoodie yelling at them to let him go. On my mama, I cannot breathe. Oh man, that line. It didn't work for. This is maybe a bad joke. Maybe I shouldn't say that. On my mama, I can't breathe. I'm laughing with him, not at him. Although he wasn't laughing. Hopefully he's laughing now. Hopefully he survived that. I don't want to say it. I want to say it, but it seems like it might be like considered to be in poor taste. To say it didn't work for Eric Garner. It didn't work for Georgia, Florida, to be saying I can't breathe. You don't want to say that. You're just like dooming yourself because those guys said it and then they died. So you don't want to say that. It's like an incantation, like you're bringing a curse upon yourself. Georgia, Florida said the same thing, and so did Eric Garner. Rest in peace, Eric Garner. Rest in peace, Georgia, Florida. We love even the Black Lives Matter martyrs, if we love anyone. Do we love anyone? Gotta know yourself, I guess, right? I can't breathe, but I can scream and carry on and give me a break, says Starved Baby. Whoa, Starved Baby. Somebody should report his mama. Hey, it's all right to laugh. But is it all right to make jokes about our late Black American men who've lost their lives to police brutality? There's no such thing as police brutality. There is just brutality. I've talked about black brutality. You know, there's a lot of brutality in the black community, but it's just brutality. Wow, good point. I can't breathe is a call to the Grim Reaper. Yep. Nick, save that soundbite, says Nick Edison. So that's our friend. Hopefully he can breathe now. I know Taking Care of Business was concerned. Check the guy with the baggy pants. He might be hiding something too. Yeah, that was wild. Big Bump is quoting JLP. Hands up, I can't breathe. Pretty funny. I thought I would share it with you. It was indeed amusing. We do not, on the Hake Report, delight in the misfortune of the criminals, the young whippersnappers, the alleged thieves. We don't delight in thievery nor in the downfall of our enemies. Right? There is no limit on comedy Hake. Hell says health aware AJ. Nice to see you, man. Have you been gone, or am I just now somehow your name became a reticular activator some way? Reticular activator, guys. It's a marketing term. I learned it in college. I went to college. And that's why I'm so dumb. Let me plow through this Brittney Griner thing before I get to more calls. Hang tight, callers, because I want to finish this story. I don't know how I'm going to finish it in 7 minutes, knowing long-winded Hake, babbling Hake. Brittney Griner versus Paul Whelan, or Whelan, versus Victor Bout, or Boot. This is from Wikipedia. Hake loves infogalactic.com, which is where you should go instead of Wikipedia. 6'9", 205 pounds, 32 years old, born in 1990. Wow, people born in 1990 are 32 years old, or 31, 32. So let me show this picture. This is write a letter to Brittney Griner. This is a from 2022 photograph from Wikipedia. Yes, I know, I shouldn't be going on there. Liberal website. NWSL Championship. Write a letter to Brittney Griner. We are BG. I am Malcolm X. I am Malcolm X. You ever seen that movie? Is that a Spike Lee movie? Embarrassing. This is in front of a Washington Spirit tent. And yes, you are wondering, what is the Washington Spirit? That is the name of a basketball team. Correction, women's basketball team. And so some cute little white girls are thinking about maybe writing a letter to send to Brittney Griner in jail, because she went to Russia loaded up with drugs, as real Donald Trump said. Less than an ounce, less than a tenth of an ounce, according to some, in her little vape that she forgot she packed. She packed in a hurry. You got to be more careful, Brittney Griner. Maybe she will be the next time. When you're traveling to Russia, because the WNBA just doesn't make the same amount of money as the NBA because of a lack of, as we heard on when Joel Friday co-hosted with Hake, the WNBA needs more support from the mainstream media. That's why they're not as popular. That's why they don't make as much money. So she has to go to Russia to play And she made money in Russia playing basketball. Because she's one tall glass of water. I'm going on too long. So anyway, here's some background on this lady. She was in Russia, you know. They don't like drugs in Russia, as Trump said. Here's a background on her. 9.5 years ago, in an interview with Sports Illustrated, SI.com, February 11th, 2013, this is her coming out as evil anniversary, coming out as a radical homosexual. Griner publicly came out as, cover your ears, kids, lesbian. She also revealed in that interview that she was bullied as a child. I'm laughing at the, not at her being bullied. Because that's not funny. I'm laughing because it's such a mockery that everybody's bullied, that there's this big old propaganda thing about bullying, and she's fallen right into it like a useful idiot. People really don't think for themselves, do we? Explaining, quote, it's hard. Just being picked on for being different, just being bigger, my sexuality, everything, she said. She's very passionate about working with children, she said. Wow, aren't those people passionate about working with children? Because that's where they lost their innocence. So they want to get that innocence back. Innocence, innocence, innocence lost. All souls want it back. Some uncover the cost. As the great Christian singer and lyricist Steve Taylor sang, which was a song that I shared last week or so. She said she's very passionate about working with children in order to bring attention to the issue of bullying, particularly against LGBT people. Griner had previously come out to her parents in high school, which her father did not accept gracefully, forcing her to live with I'm smiling, but this is not a smiling matter, forcing her to live with an assistant coach for 6 weeks during her senior year. She later wrote a memoir with some woman named Sue Hovey, whoever that is, addressing bullying and self-acceptance, called In My Skin, My Life on and Off the Basketball Court, published in 2014. So she's been propped up for quite some time now. Talented basketball player for a woman could probably be Hake, maybe. She is 6'9". She got almost a foot on me. The world. In 2013, Griner was featured on the cover of ESPN magazine. Oh yeah, she posed like naked a couple years after that. Gross. She was pictured holding a snake. Wow, she just went up in my book. Her favorite animal because they are misunderstood. I know I'm reading Wikipedia to you, but to me this is interesting. Her endorsement deal with Nike was the first time the company, evil company, had signed such a deal with an openly gay athlete. Gay. Turn the freaking frogs gay. Sorry, kids. Griner continues to push back on traditional gender roles as she regularly models clothes branded as menswear for Nike. She has broad shoulders. 2020, Brittney Griner, along with Brianna Turner, called for the WNBA to stop United States national anthem. Stop playing it before the games. She made her remarks after Mercury players, whatever that is. I guess that's a women's basketball team. Oh, but she's a superstar. Nobody in the NBA is any kind of superstar, I don't think. I only know of Brittney Griner's name because everybody freaked out when she went to jail in Russia. That's the only reason I know her name. I might have heard her after she went political, too. Not for her basketball skills, which she probably does have. The Mercury players refused to take the floor during a preseason game in Bradenton, Florida. She said she was protesting the killing of Breonna Taylor, which was a justified shoot. I suppose it's unfortunate that a stray bullet hit Breonna Taylor, unless she was the one shooting. Her boyfriend claimed that she shot at the cops, and then he said that it was him, according to the one cop, as part of the wider Georgia-Florida protests. So another strike at being a useful idiot. A useful idiot for the bullying and gays and attacking the kids, pretending to be protecting the kids, or in her mind she is. And then the Black Lives Matter useful idiot. Double commie, double communist, double trouble. Black and woman, and radical homosexual. Intersectional, huh? She said, I honestly feel we should not play the national anthem during our season. I think we should take that much of a stand. She said she does not believe the national anthem should be played at sporting events. So, let me share this with you. I know we're going over. 7 minutes blows by when Hake is having fun, to your detriment. So here's this topic. Marriage, quote unquote, and lesbian violence. Very common. Even the lesbians admit this. The black lesbians on Huffington Post. I've seen it. I've read it for myself when I was a producer for JLP. I learned about this. This is gross. Sorry, kids. And sorry to myself, too, because I have to cover this and cringe. On August 14th, 2014, Griner got engaged, quote unquote, to fellow WNBA player Glory Johnson. Within a year, April 2015, they were both arrested. I'm not laughing at them. Arrested on charges of assault, and disorderly conduct after police responded to a fight between the two in their suburban home in Phoenix, Arizona. If one of them were a man, it would have been called domestic violence, which it was, and the man would have been arrested only. But since they're both lesbians, they were both arrested, and they were both violent. Both had sustained some injuries in Phoenix, Arizona, in their suburban home. Wow, polluting the suburbs with their mess. Well, the suburbs are already polluted, but even these are, at least be whitewashed tombs. Come on, at least be whitewashed tombs. Despite the incident, they married, quote unquote, the following month in May 2015, within a few weeks. On May 15th, the WNBA suspended these two black lesbians who, quote unquote, married each other for 7 games each after Griner pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct charges. Griner was also required to complete 26 weeks of domestic violence counseling. I heard that black ladies have higher T levels. Is that true? Anyway, on June 4th, 2015, a couple of months after, or within a month, she revealed Johnson was pregnant. Griner said, and Johnson revealed that Johnson was pregnant with twins. This is so sick. Sorry, kids. Johnson's conceived with Johnson's eggs through in vitro fertilization. What a shame, huh? Playing God. Playing family. Playing house. Let's play house. Okay. Let's fight. Okay. Let's have twins. Okay. With another man. The following day, and after less than a month of marriage, Griner filed for an annulment of the marriage, quote-unquote marriage. It's a fake marriage, which the government's trying to force on the rest of us right now. Thank you, Sleepy Joe. And Senate, bipartisan Senate, rhinos. And House, I think. Did the House pass it? Johnson gave birth to twin girls October 2015, 16 weeks premature. Ooh. She was ordered to pay child support. Now you know what it's like to poor Brittney Griner suffering what the men are suffering. Paid child support to Johnson. The couple's divorce was finalized June 2016. Then she became engaged to Sherelle Watson, and I have a picture of that one, I think, with Sleepy Joe. In August 2018, and they, quote-unquote, married. There's the picture. I think, isn't that her? Is that her? Sherelle? Sherelle Watson. Sherelle Watson changed her name to Sherelle Griner. Man, children, I hope you were covering your ears through all that. So sick. In contrast to all that mess, let me show you the best. In contrast to showing you the worst of Brittney Griner, let me show you the best of Paul Whelan, the white man, American man. Here's, man, we're overtime. Here's Paul Whelan. This is from Based Meme Maker, TPUSA extraordinaire, Benny Johnson. I'm being slightly facetious, but, you know, Paul Whelan served as a cop in Michigan 15 years. Look at him, all young whippersnapper. He looks so skinny. He looks fresh out of high school. He looks like junior ROTC or something, whatever that is. Yeah, look at him with a golden retriever. I don't know anything about this man, really. But He enlisted in the Marines in 1994, deployed to Iraq in 2004. Paul Whelan is an American hero, says Benny Johnson, opining. I don't know, maybe he is. On December 28th, 2018, Paul was accused of espionage in Russia. He's been in jail ever since. Biden did nothing to free him, alleges Benny Johnson. No, I heard that they tried. I heard that it was either get Brittney Griner immediately or get no one immediately. That word immediately sounds like a weasel word. Hat tip to Base America First for the term weasel word, because they probably could have gotten both. Or maybe they could have gotten the actual hero. Now, some people say, oh, this guy, he was dishonorably discharged, blah, 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 whatever. Nowadays, in these times, what does that really mean to be dishonorably discharged? I can't say. Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through that. I've heard that Victor Boot, I feel like somebody's called in over the months saying Victor Boot is not the menace that he was said to have been, although Trump says that he was one of the worst. I don't know what to believe. Victor Boot, the guy that we gave up for that woman. Shaking my head. Anyway, it is well past the top of the hour. I got to get to calls and stuff. But before all that, I want to play 2 Christian songs this day for you guys. So let me play from 1990, Petra, from the album Beyond Belief. Track 1, Armed and Dangerous. Nice. Like the Merchant of Death. Sweet. So good, is it not? I love it. I learned that Petra, their singer there, this particular singer, John Schlitt, I like his voice, sounded kind of like that guy, and I've mentioned this already, from Aerosmith. Aerosmith did a cover of Beatles' Come Together Right Now, Over Me, and I'm like, is this Petra? I was in college. Pasadena City College. It was exercise music, spinning class. Man, you sweat like crazy indoors, spinning. It doesn't matter if you sweat like Nicolas. Doesn't matter if the fans are blowing, windows open. Such a beautiful shot ruined by the music, says Emperor of Cats. Blark, blark, this doesn't sound like Christian music to me, Hake. Face. Ben Thorpe, also known as Abel, may have been the caller, Ben, states, these are musical insults to Christian masculinity. Similar point to what Ben the caller made, probably the same Ben is my guess, if I had to guess, on the show that, yeah, this music is as old as Brittney Griner, and in fact, this music brought us Brittney Griner. Sorry, Petra, that's kind of insulting. Don't blame Petra for Brittney Griner. Brittney Griner is a blessing. All babies are a blessing. John Field says, goodbye, all in, out of here. I'm out of here. Have a great day. Thank you, John, for joining for when you did. Plays the keytar, says Emperor of Cats. Yeah, did you hear those, the organ keys? So cool. Dang. Petra is good. I dig it, says Paul Rao. Thank you, man. Nice. Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through that beautiful, excellent, wonderful Christian music. Hake has the best CD collection on this side of heaven, says Canadian David. At least two of us think so. That makes two of us. Actually, I don't even know if I think so. Oh, so we are all the musical Philistines. Yes, indeed. Well, thanks again, guys. Let me get to Frederick in California on the line. Frederick, thank you for holding, man. How you doing?
How you doing there, Hank?
Doing well.
All right.
Did you know that it's
I think
Hake?
it's just what'd you say?
Did you know that it's Hake?
Hake.
Yeah.
That's Hake.
I like Hank.
Hake.
I like Hake,
Hake.
but I just want to make sure that people know that it's Hake. But thanks, man.
Hake. Okay, I like it.
Hey,
I think it's a big.
I saw you in the Facebook chat. Shout out to the Facebook crew. Were you in the Facebook chat yesterday?
Oh yeah.
Right
yeah.
on. Anyway, go ahead.
Yep. I wanted to know, like, the big miscommunication. I think there is the difference between anti and anti.
Oh, is there a miscommunication? I didn't know that there was such a thing as a difference between anti and anti. I thought that those were the same thing, just different pronunciations.
No,
I thought they were maybe even both.
Before it predates. Anti means against.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Like.
All right.
Yeah, like antediluvian, like before the flood. Or
antebellum. Antebellum, before the war of northern aggression against the beautiful South.
Exactly. But I think they heard someone say that, and they turned it, he said he's anti-Semite. Get him. It could be
so you're before the Semites? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's no beef to their own religion. Everybody's entitled to what they believe in. But we're just
so they're
saying
spelling
this
it wrong.
Predates.
Yeah, anti up, A-N-T-E. Anti.
Yes, A-N-T-E. That's what I want.
Or is it auntie? A-U-N-T-Y. That's
however
silly.
you want to pronounce it.
Nice.
I think. I think the miscommunication needs to be communicated thoroughly. Like if he was to come out and say that the same principles you believe in, we believed in before, or it's the same thing, but you can't call me anti-Semite.
Okay.
You can't exclude me from the taxes y'all reap and benefit from if, like, the underlying religion y'all built came from us. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that you
So I
are
can be
the
against them if you predate it.
are you the true Israelite or are you the true Egyptian?
I'm the true Egyptian. Ma'at is our religion. We go by the
Don't say that, man.
Metanet.
You make me chuckle. You make me giggle.
Yeah, the Metanet.
Are you familiar
Look
with
it
the I have to bring this up. Cover your ears, kids. Parents, cover your children's ears. Are you familiar
Don't
with
do it.
Are you familiar with the Mexican term slur for blacks? Don't say it, but are you familiar with the one that sounds like what you just said? Except it has A at the end. You familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. That's why it makes me chuckle
But it's
when
not
you say that.
spelled the same. MEDUNETR. Netter.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a book. And they've been talking about going to heaven and hell for a long time. The Book of the Dead, it started at the beginning of the New Kingdom. That's when it started to get whitewashed and whoop-de-whoop. But if you go back to the Old and the Middle Kingdom, they wrote it in stone how to get to the afterlife and what evil is and what hell is and how to live.
I'm distracted. I'm stuck on you saying whoop-de-whoop. Whoop-de-whoop. And we're go, what?
Whoopty-whoop. I said what?
Sorry. I totally lost track of what you were saying, what your point was. Go ahead. Repeat that.
Where did you lose track at?
Right around the time you said whoop-de-whoop.
I don't know.
Do you smoke pot?
It's more. It's a lot more research that y'all have to do.
You have a voice.
The Greeks all studied in Egypt. You know that, right?
You have a voice that makes me wonder or suspect that you smoke pot or have.
Oh, I live in California. Yes, I do.
I live in California too. It doesn't mean I do. At least not firsthand. Maybe secondhand a little.
Do you consider pot evil?
Oh. Yes.
Oh man, Kentucky does too. You were talking about Breonna Taylor, and they have a lot of issues with legalizing marijuana. They make a lot of money off the jail systems, and it's a lot of systemic racism.
The state of Kentucky?
Yeah, Louisville especially. That's where I was born and raised.
Yeah, you kind of sound like that.
It's crazy. They love Mitch McConnell like die hard. They even if they ready to cut their food stamps and Medicare off, they'll still vote for him.
Wow.
And they don't have no money. I mean, I'm not saying a particular race votes are in the power that don't have no money, but they really go against their own, self-interest when they vote, and it's wild.
Who goes against their own self-interest? The whites? The poor whites, you saying?
Yeah.
So-called poor?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well,
but anti and anti is what the basic of the miscommunication started from, and I
think that's silly. Honestly, I would be remiss if I did not tell you that I think that your whole point about anti and anti is silly, but I think the whole anti-Semite thing is silly and worse. I think it's silly and evil. I think the anti-Semite thing is silly and evil. Right? I think you're just being silly.
No, do you think Jesus ever got mad?
Not like we do. Not like you and I.
So when he flipped the table and made that whip and chased down all of that out in the street, he wasn't mad.
I don't think so. I don't know, but I don't think so.
You're a Bible thumper, and I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
And John.
It doesn't say that he was mad.
Yeah, it said he was furious.
No,
he came down and seen them.
That was a different scene.
With the selling the goats at the market, and he ran them out of town.
It does not. Maybe the Message. Do you read you probably read the Message, huh? The Message translation.
Serious.
The embellished. It never says he was serious. Which version of the Bible do you read?
Together.
Which version of the Bible?
Ready to telltale whip together.
Hey, Ben. Ben's complaining. I've been on with you for 7 minutes.
I'm sorry. Have a nice day. Hey.
No. Stay there, Frederick. I'm just going to interrupt with this strange interlude because a blind person who is not black, I don't think, not on the outside, is making a silly complaint. Hake shuts me down, but keeps going with this stoned clown, says Ben Thorpe, also known as Abel. But that's silly, man. You're not, that's silly. That's your mind. Satan's lying to your mind or your imagination. Because I've talked with Frederick less than 7 minutes, and I talked to you more than 12 minutes. So don't be, and you're
It's
you're
just
not
like
as,
that. They don't want to hear the message, Chase.
Yeah.
I'll call you later.
No, okay.
I'll call you
Let's
later,
go
'cause
back
I'm
to you.
making more sense
No.
if you look into it. There's actual religion.
What was
And,
your,
you know,
I forget
Kemet
where we
and
left
the
off. I got distracted. So Ben, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Everybody's all, Jesse hangs right up with me. Run, guy, run. But anyway, go ahead.
I stayed on hold for Jesse a long time this morning.
Nice.
Yeah, but I was one of the next callers right before him, and I think he dragged out their last call. 'Cause I don't. I'm a try
so
to
you're
apply
just
for the
like
co-hosting job.
like Ben. You're in your imagination thinking that we're playing favorites for the
No.
other people.
I know sometimes he thinks I might be trying to troll him with my questions I have, because I really do be having, real debate history questions. But he say knowledge is the devil. I'm not talking about Jesse on your show. I'm sorry. Sorry.
No worries.
Because I know how you feel about that.
I brought it
That's
up.
not the topic.
I brought it up.
Yeah. But it's okay. I'm gonna call you back, let you get into some more calls. I don't really got nothing, but I want to apply for that co-hosting job for Jesse. How do I apply? Because I'm retired. I have nothing to do. I got a good stack of books I like to introduce.
Weren't you already told?
Excuse me?
Weren't you already told how to get in contact?
Yes, I need to know what he needs, like.
Well, the Hake report
requirements for the job.
The Hake report show is not the place to find out the requirements for the job.
Yeah, I gotta get my resume together, man.
Good luck. I wish you well, man.
All right.
Take care.
I'll be right beside you. My show be coming on after yours soon.
All right.
I'm speaking it into prophesizing.
Speaking in faith. Adios,
right.
Frederick in California.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too. He's a nice guy. So is Ben. It's funny. I was thinking about Art's call yesterday, I think it was. Art in Ohio. He is a friend of the Hake Report and the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, right? He is a friend and fan. Follower, whatever. He's all, God brought me to the JLP show and to the Hake Report so that I could help you guys. Speak something maybe to help you guys. And isn't it interesting how, like, we think that we can help people, and we can, or we think we can get something from people sometimes in other cases, not in Art's case. People are so, like, delusional about themselves that it's kind of like, I remember as a kid, as a younger man, I guess, grown adult, thinking, oh, I want to save my friends. I want to save them from not going to, so that they don't go to hell. Talk about delusional. Save yourself. Save yourself from hell is the name of one album from that Christian band, Zao. I call them Zao. They're probably pronounced Zayo. But isn't that interesting how the way that people think is very different about themselves and about their relation with other people is totally different from how other people think about them as well. Because when Art calls, I'm not thinking, oh, Art can really help me. And he can. He gave me good advice about exercising, stretching, fixing the back, fixing the arms. Well, I guess we'll see if it's good advice if I actually follow it. You get all this good advice and you never do it. What a shame. But the pride and the arrogance and the blindness of people. Are you following what I'm saying? I'm not picking on Art. I'm not picking on Ben. And I'm not picking on Frederick. But I'm just saying, people are blind, delusional. And just believing what they will. Have an answer for everything, like the flat earthers, like the liberals, like the like the hate-filled people, the people who like anger. Buy some protein powder and hit the gym, Hake, says Dasher Brett. Well, thank you, guys. I don't know if I was clear with that point. Super chat from Lin Yen Chin over there on streamlabs.com/thehake report/tip. I'm glad that you can super chat again, man. Yeah, we made it. I went to PayPal Plus, which means you can use a credit card, and it should work. Yes, Lord Goodhair. Black women are the other half of us black males. Equals yes. They too, TWO, have twice the testosterone that their white counterparts, white females, do, and up to 5 or 6 times that of the Chinese females, women. My being part Chinese makes mine a little lower. Yeah, because he's mixed Chinese and black. Chinese and Jamaican me crazy, Lin Yen Chin. Interesting. So yes, according to Lin Yen Chin, an authoritative source on testosterone levels and IQ estimates, and spinal alignment, and breathing through the nose, nostrils if you can, not through the mouth, and general critiques, black women do have higher testosterone levels. So Brittney Griner, hence Brittney Griner, a little mannish. And then it's been encouraged. What a shame, huh? What a shame. So, speaking of, let me just double check for some more supers. Speaking of the LGBTIQ plus whatever mess, it's ridiculous. I was joking about this in Hake News, half joking anyway. Based by lady. Sorry, kids. Commie Nonsense Network said Kyrsten Sinema, the movies. No, I'm kidding. It's not. It sounds like Kyrsten Sinema when you say her name. When I hear her name, I think of that. Arizona Senator, female. Kyrsten, Kyrsten, Sinema, Sinema. Leaving the Demon Rat Party, Democrats, registering, quote-unquote, independent. Oh, I'm shaking my head. Wasn't there a Hawaiian woman who was supposedly raised Christian, who's like a POC type of lady, surfer girl, roughly my age, maybe Gen X, who's on Tucker Carlson all the time? People are like, oh, she's so based, but she's a Democrat. Didn't she leave and turn into becoming a Republican or something? You know, that woman who criticizes the foreign policy, establishment foreign policy? Did she turn Republican or did she turn independent or is she still a Democrat? I don't know. You know who I'm talking about? I'm blanking on her name. She was on with Jake Tapper, who I referred to as Monica Lewinsky's one-time date, according to him. In an exclusive Commie Nonsense Network TV interview, quote, from Kyrsten Sinema, I've registered as an Arizona independent. Tiki. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Big bump. I got to get it for you now. Tulsi Gabbard. Thank you. Tulsi Gabbard's the one. I don't know what she is anymore. Yeah, she used to be anti same-sex marriage, and then she was for it because she's fell in with the world. Not a strong upbringing, apparently. I know some people might be a little surprised by this, registering as an independent, but actually I think it makes a lot of sense, said Kyrsten Sinema to Jake Tapper Thursday in her Senate office. I've never fit neatly into any party box. I've never really tried. I don't want to, she added. So she's just like Brittney Griner's favorite animal, the snake, misunderstood. So not read in Hake News, Kyrsten Sinema's exit from the Democrat Party is unlikely to change the power balance in the next Senate. Demon Rats will have a narrow 51-49 majority even still. Did you know that? Did you know? Because it includes 2 so-called independents. sick, who caucus with them. That's the disgusting, lying, unchristian, socialist, so-called independent Bernie Sanders, age 81 of Vermont. That's part of New England. That's why I say how far New England has fallen. And one 78-year-old Angus King of Maine, serving himself alongside Susan Collins of Maine, a rhino Republican female. And how embarrassing, state of Maine. With your Dungeness crabs or whatever they are. No, that is not an STD. That is a food item, I think. Not into it. From JLP Hour 3, though, Breitbart said that Tom Tillis, is Tom spelled T-H-O-M? Maybe Tillis is spelled with no H. And Kyrsten Sinema called for amnesty for illegals, according to Breitbart, if you believe Breitbart. Is Breitbart based? So, boo, Kyrsten Sinema. You're such a mixed bag lady. Mildly attractive, though. A bit old for me. And plus, she's not morally straight. That's not good. But, so that's the update on her. She left the Democrat Party, became a so-called independent. It's in the right direction, I suppose. Maybe it's just a meaningless, meandering, dithering of the people within the realms of evil, right? I suppose so. Shaking my head. I'm also shaking my head about this. This is also Hake News, not mentioned in Hake News, though. Sleazy Joe giving away he's so generous with other people's money, isn't he? Sleazy Joe. $36 billion, reports Commie Nonsense Network. That's how much the sleazy Biden administration awarded Thursday to save the pensions. My air quotes. Does Jeanette Korzenko still catch the Hake report? Criticizing Hake's air quotes? Excessive use of air quotes? Save the pensions, whatever that means, of roughly 357,000 workers who work within corrupt unions. They are supposedly work, right? The unions are corrupt union workers. Many of the workers are corrupt. The unions are definitely corrupt. Some workers may be okay if they actually work. And even if they actually work, they're probably evil too. Most people are. The money will go to a private fund. Private fund. That covers workers and retirees from more than 1,000 communist union-infiltrated companies, commie capitalist, across a range of industries, including truck drivers. Shout out to the truck drivers. Get your money. Get your bag. Warehouse workers. Shout out to the warehouse workers. I've run into some of you guys over the years. Construction workers. Shout out to the construction workers. And food processors. Boo, food processors. I'm half kidding. It's the largest federal award of its kind, according to the Black on the Inside White House. Get yours, good people, but don't fall for the bribe. What is the bribe? I don't know. In the Bible, it says something to the effect of, don't let me be too rich to forget my God, something like that. And don't let me be too poor that I am tempted to steal, although the rich people steal just as much as the poor. Because everybody's rich in America, and the rich black whippersnappers are stealing because they're poor in morals. Moral poverty. To steal a phrase from JLP. Shout out to the housewives, Hake. No, you guys don't get paid by Sleepy Biden's union dirty money. So no shout out to the housewives. Crazy. Quick super chat from Taking Care of Business on Odyssey, ODYSEE, TCB. I find it funny that whenever people register as independent, they 100% of the time vote along with the Democrats. Yeah, I know. It's like when you hear blacks call into the Hake Report. Maybe they haven't called into the Hake Report and said this, but I've heard them call into the Jesse Lee Peterson show and elsewhere. Say, I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm independent. I just vote based on how I see things. But they vote with the Democrats most of the time. 100% of the times it's taking care of business, which may be an exaggeration. Maybe a Jesus-like, a Pope Francis-like vague hyperbole. Hat tip to Ben, who's called me a couple of times now. Nice. Did you know that I'm streaming on Rumble, rumble.com/The Hake Report? Thank you, and you can super chat on Rumble too, via Rumble. It's called Rumble Rants, I guess, or, well, I guess it's Rumble Rant, Sticky Rant. Even live chat is called Rumble Rants, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, I'm excited, or I was excited earlier in the week. Last Saturday, I did a little beach day or beach half hour stream, pre-recorded live stream. I know it's an oxymoron. Nice. Thank you, though, taking care of business. Appreciate that. Shout out to the Odyssey crew. Very knowledgeable people over there. Let me show something funny. Let's get to something funny. I feel like there was a funny meme tweet thing that I saw screenshotted. I saw it in the replies to the a Jesse Lee Peterson tweet about JLP tweeted, next to Pickin Cotton. He said this on the radio show too. Next to Pickin Cotton, you have not lived until you've gone to Israel. Nice. I know all of you guys agree. So let me show this Pick Cotton meme tweet censored. I censored it because it is not child-friendly, family-friendly. So I censored it. Hopefully you're not too easily able to fill in the blank. Big Rosie the DJ. He tweeted pictures of himself under a beautiful blue sky with beautiful fluffy clouds. Himself with a hat backwards. Very able-bodied young man. Looks like an upstanding man. Looks silly, to be honest. But he's tweeted, this stuff really ain't that bad if you was out there with your N-word guz. N-guz. And it's pictures of, aren't those beautiful shots? And it's him picking cotton. Isn't that nice? Wearing basketball windbreaker pants, green. Looking like he has no sense. But he should have, he's not dressing the part. I'm not really convinced that he did this for very long. Maybe it was just a silly photo shoot for a silly tweet. But it was, it made me laugh, made me chuckle. I thought it was worth sharing. Maybe I just killed the joke by downplaying it, describing this whole situation too well. But a black in the fields, working the fields. Isn't that nice? Beautiful. Is that the beautiful South? Cotton field. I love that scenery. Can you zoom in on those 4 pictures there? That is so nice. Outside. I don't get to see the outside much. I'm cooped in here working as a slave here at Bond indoors. That's why I'm so pale. Plus, I was sick and had on antibiotics and stuff, so I was avoiding the sun. Isn't that nice? Maybe he said it as a joke, but it's true. Be thankful, blacks. I mean, people acting like slavery was so bad. I don't know. I wasn't there. It didn't sound like something that you would really want to be involved in, but come on. How about some thankfulness? They even reject Thanksgiving. Be grateful. Maybe if you were forced to do that, you would be more grateful. It reminds me, I started to answer the biblical question. I told you guys that I wrote the biblical question, a response to the biblical question if you were listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Because I remember as a kid having to work, like that boy. Is that racist to call him a boy? Young man. And I use the term man loosely. And I don't know how young that person was either. But I remember having to work as a kid, had to work on the roof, had to work on the additions. My dad did some like additions on the house. Had to do some work cutting the ivy. Sometimes I would mow the lawn, which was fun. Pushing the lawnmower, pulling the ripcord. It's not a ripcord, right? The thing to turn it on. And you didn't like, as a kid, as a selfish kid, you figure out ways to stress. People think, oh, I want to be a kid, no stress. Yeah, you did. You had stress as a kid if you're the type of person who stressed. Because kids have wants and desires and get ideas in their head that they want something. And then when they don't have that, or when they're forced to do something that they have the idea that they don't want to do it, they stress about it, I think. They're like, oh, man, I don't want to go inside to the house. I'm playing outside. I don't want to go inside, have a bath or a shower or whatever. I don't want to come in and eat. But then when you're in the bath, or when you're eating, unless it's gross food, you're like, this is good. Or when you're working, you're like, oh, some self-satisfaction. So that balance, maybe the blacks are so ungrateful because they lack balance. Working, humility, loving white people, appreciating the country, stuff like that, you know? I'm so glad that we get to leave the door open. So all my hot air is not, I really don't feel too much of my hot air right now. I'm making a side comment to Hassan. So we need what we don't want sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm laughing, but it's so true. Let me see if I made a point up there. I may post it on my Substack. I thought to post it on my Substack. Are sit-down lawnmowers cheating? They seem like fun. I got to do a sit-down lawnmower on a big acres of land of a friend of the family's Tennessee place. Yeah. So people who think that kids don't stress must have bad memories. But I remember my wanting not to do stuff was making me miserable as a kid sometimes. I don't want to go to school. Or you want to go to school sometimes. So getting exercise, going to bed, getting up early, all those things add to your life when you don't want it. So maybe this whole slavery thing and the, work and no more free money and stuff like that, it's good for you. Suffering of sorts is good for you. But instead, we got crime out of control. Do I want to talk about that? You know what? I wanted to tell you about Han Solo for ages. Let me jump over to Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones. Okay, so some silly news for you guys. You can call in 888-775-3773. Indiana Jones. Another movie. The last movie was lame. Maybe even the last two movies were lame. Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. I enjoyed it. That was good. I was not allowed to somebody put fear into me against watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Heard that was not a good one. Or it might have been good, I don't know. But that was from the 80s or 90s, Indiana Jones. This is a movie. Those of you who probably don't know, maybe. I think everybody knows. But he's coming out with yet another movie. And I call him Han Solo because I liked him as Han Solo, right? Han Solo was one of the stars of the Star Wars movies. And he was cool in that. I think that's what made him a big star, partly. He was in the movie The Fugitive, which I also liked. Great movie. I recommend it. I liked it anyway. I watched it many times. But then recently, he acted like such a simp, such a And by simp, I mean like this beta husband to Princess Leia, and they called her General Leia in the newer Star Wars movies. Ugh. I don't like people dying in movies, but I almost felt like he kind of brought it on himself, sort of deserved it. I just spoiled the movie. I just spoiled that one Star Wars movie, and I kind of liked that movie, in spite of him being so cringy. The cringy, lame husband to the late Princess Leia, then General Leia, and then she died, the actress. She was prettier when she was younger. So, do I have the picture? Did you show it already? Look, Harrison Ford craps the whip. Sorry, kids. Cracks the whip in a teaser trailer for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That doesn't even sound intriguing. Dial of Destiny. Sounds like a kid's lame-o Disney gone soft, which they've been soft for some time. Disney movie. It's a CNN entertainment. And he's pretty old. It's like they don't have anybody manly anymore. Well, they do. They have people who look imitation manly. They look manly. Harrison Ford reprises his role of Indiana Jones in the franchise's 5th installment out next year. He also played the son of that guy the British guy, the based British guy who's not against slapping some sense in a proper way, in the proper context, proper timing, into a lady who is not acting ladylike, who's just nagging, not letting go of a point. A well-placed, well-timed, proper, not too hard slap. What's that guy's name? He played James Bond. He played in one of the Indiana Jones movies. Yeah, Sean Connery. Thank you, man. Thank you, Hassan. Are you a fan of any of these movies that I'm mentioning? The Indiana Jones stuff? Let's bring Hassan into this. Hassan.
Not too much Indiana Jones, but definitely love James Bond and the
Nice.
007 films.
Yeah.
And I love Sean Connery.
Yeah.
He feels like a bass guy.
Yeah. As Hollywood movie stars go, he seems... Rest in peace. He died recently.
Yeah.
He died, guys. Hake news. You heard it here. Last. Sean Connery died, but yeah, they shared that. Did you see that video of him being interviewed by that one lady? Like, was she from The View or something? Did you see that clip?
Sean Connery?
Yeah, it's from like the 90s or 80s.
Huh.
I think it was, or maybe even early 2000s. She interviewed him and she shared a quote of him talking about slapping a woman.
Wow.
If she's, and he just, and she's all, I didn't love that quote. What a typical feminist woman. Pretty good interviewer, though. What's her name? Anyway. So, yeah, he is kind of... I like him.
Yeah.
I appreciate him.
I like him, and I think now we're just talking about James Bonds, I guess.
Put yourself on screen if you
Okay,
can.
yeah. And I like Pierce Bronson as a James Bond.
Pierce... Was it Brosnan?
Or Bronze, yeah.
Yeah.
Bronze, yeah.
I liked him, too. He was in the 90s. That was really my introduction to the James Bond movies. I mean, because I was sheltered. And then my cousins showed me the Pierce Brosnan movies and maybe one of the Sean Connery movies.
Yeah. Oh, so you never played GoldenEye, the video game?
No, but my friends had that game. They had the golden gun, the golden gun, one shot, one kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was so sheltered, we didn't even have Nintendo until I was in high school. And then I got yelled at because I started to play Nintendo too much and started getting a C in Spanish. My dad yelled at me.
And
he kept me home from wrestling freshman year.
You proved their point.
Right. And Nintendo was around when I was like in kindergarten and younger. And by then, people had PlayStation, they had like Xbox and stuff like that. So I was getting like the original Nintendo, playing like G.I. Joe and Double Dragon and stuff.
Right, you're still
Contra.
You're just getting Duck Hunt.
Right, I loved Duck Hunt. I would play at other friends' houses. So I loved that shoot. Try to shoot the dog laughing at you.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Animal cruelty. Right on.
Amazing.
Thank you, Hassan.
Yes, sir.
Let me get to some calls before we wrap up here. I feel like I made another reference. Oh, before I get to calls, hang tight, callers, because I've been teasing this forever. Speaking of people who used to be attractive when they were younger, a lot of these ladies, Kirstie Alley, she too was pretty as a younger lady. And you know what? I don't want to bag on her too much, but Kirstie Alley died. You heard it here last. Hake with the late news. This is a direct tip from our resident historian and my primary news source, TKR Official on Telegram, Azzmador in the Odyssey chat. Kirstie Alley, best known as and he uses a word that I don't use, more than mildly attractive Vulcan in Star Trek, has died. And this was quite a few days ago. And Hake is only getting to it now. She died. And I didn't know that she looked like this. Look at her. Pretty lady. I remember her more being fatter and older faced, creases on her face. But she was a Trump supporter. Right on. Based Kirstie Alley, a real American woman. I was reading in her Wikipedia, which I don't have in front of me, that she supported Trump, and then, like a woman, but we cut her slack. We cut the ladies slack because we love the lovely ladies. And she was once a lovely lady. She's dead now. Rest in peace, Kirstie Alley. Dead. At 71 years old, her children said, I think. She married a man whose last name was also Alley, I think. After a brief battle with cancer, is what they say. But she supported, during 2016, she supported Trump until that October surprise when Trump, 12 years earlier, 2005, Access Hollywood hot mic tapes suddenly surfaced, and just like every other useful idiot woman, and I say that both with disdain and perfect love, she fell for it. She's like, I'm not supporting anyone now. I hate this election. I'm tired of it. Woman, you shouldn't even be concerning your pretty little head, or once pretty little head, with politics. But then I think she did support him again later. She did vote for him, and I think she might have supported him in 2020. Beautiful, based white woman. White women are the worst. No, they're not. You lying people. You just say that because you don't want to sound racist. White women are the best in terms of their politics. They're the top of the dung pile of women voters. But I'm serious, because white women are the least liberal. White liberal women. Yeah, I know there's a lot of white liberal women, but it makes me want to spit, these people kissing up to as if the POC women are better than the white women. They're not. Per capita, white women are the least worst in terms of their politics. But they shouldn't have politics. In fact, they don't have politics. So anyway, rest in peace, Kirstie Alley. I do mean to honor you, if you can honor a woman, right? I cherish women, as Trump said. We don't want you to cherish women. We want you to respect women. Oh, man. Okay, I lied to you, callers. Craig in Detroit, Michigan, wanted to talk about Brittney Griner. Man, I wanted to get to you. David in California had a knock-knock joke for Hake, and I did not want to get to that because it scares me. And Rick in Hampton, Virginia, had a comment about Deion Sanders' backlash. Well, guys, you're going to have to call Hake next week if Hake is back next week, which I should be. I have no plans otherwise. Danimal said with a super chat, hey, stop picking on everyone. Joking, bro. Love your work. Thanks, man. Shout out to the Kiwis. Is he a Kiwi or Australian or something? Or South African? The beautiful South Africans. Godforce with a super chat on Rumble. Hey, Peruvians from all parts of Peru are protesting the coup against Pedro Castillo. Wow. Thank you for the tip, man. I was not aware of that. Something perhaps to look into. Thanks, man. Thanks for the Rumble super chat. That's cool. Well, guys, let's listen to Petra. Beyond belief. So good. I'm going to be quiet, and you're going to like it. Bye, guys.
We're content to pitch our tent when the glory is evident. Seldom do we know the glory came and went. Moving can seem dangerous in this stranger's pilgrimage. Knowing that you can't stand still, you cross the bridge. There's a higher place to go beyond belief, where we reach the next plateau beyond belief, and from faith to faith we grow towards the center of the throne, where He beckons us to go beyond belief, Whoa. Leap of faith without a net makes us want to hedge our bet. Waters never part until our feet get wet. Whoa, there's a deeper place to go where the road seems hard to hold. He who has begun this work won't let it go. There's a higher place to go beyond belief, where we reach the next plateau beyond belief, and from faith to faith we grow towards the center of the throne, where He beckons us to go beyond belief, and it takes so long to see the change, but we look around and it seems so strange. We have come so far, but the journey's long, and we once were weak, but now we're strong. There's a higher place to go beyond belief.